Hi guys, it's me, Tech Jake. Today, we're looking at something a little different from the usual laptops, phones, or projectors that I cover on the channel. This time, it's a machine designed for creators, small businesses, or anyone who's into DIY product branding, the Manual Pad Printer, a pad printing machine that lets you transfer logos, labels, and designs onto different surfaces. If you've ever wondered how those clean, professional logos get onto pens, mugs, plastic parts, or even promotional items, pad printing is one of the main ways it's done. And what's cool about this machine is that it brings the commercial level process down to a size and budget that's accessible for individuals or small shops. So, let's dive in. Now, at first glance, the Manual Pad Printer doesn't look like your typical tech gadget. It's a mechanical device, built out of solid metal components with a simple, no-nonsense design. You've got the base plate, the adjustable arms, the pad holder, and the ink cup setup. Everything is arranged so you can load in your design plate, ink it up, and then transfer that design cleanly onto your item. It's not flashy, but it's rugged, and that's exactly what you want in a tool like this. The way pad printing works is pretty fascinating. Instead of printing directly onto your object, which doesn't really work for uneven or curved surfaces, you etch or engrave your design into a plate. That plate gets filled with ink, the silicone pad presses onto it to pick up the ink, and then that same pad presses onto your product, transferring the design. The silicone pad is flexible enough to conform to curves and textures, which is why pad printing can work on pens, keychains, golf balls, and all sorts of oddly shaped things. So what makes this Manual Pad Printer interesting is that it's designed for versatility and DIY use. You don't need an entire factory setup, compressed air, or a bunch of automation to make it work. It's a manual system, which means you control each step, lowering the pad, picking up the ink, and transferring it. That gives you precision and consistency while keeping costs way down compared to industrial setups. In terms of build quality, I have to say, this thing feels like it's made to last. It's primarily metal, not cheap plastic. That's important, because when you're working with inks, plates, and pressure, you don't want something flimsy that wobbles out of alignment. The weight of the base keeps everything stable on your workbench. And since this is targeted at people who may be printing dozens of items in a session, durability is key. Now, who is this for? If you're running a small business and you want to add custom branding to your products without outsourcing, this is perfect. Imagine you sell handcrafted items, maybe bottles, gadgets, or accessories. Instead of ordering 1,000 pre-branded items, you can bring the customization in-house. That gives you flexibility. You can change logos, limited edition designs, or custom names for clients. For hobbyists, it's also a great way to get into product personalization. Maybe you want to create your own branded merch, design test runs before going into mass production, or even just explore printing techniques. Having a manual pad printer opens up creative opportunities that you don't get with just stickers or vinyl transfers. Let's talk about the learning curve, though. This isn't plug and play like an inkjet printer. There's a bit of setup involved, aligning your plate, mixing your ink properly, making sure your pad is clean, and adjusting the pressure so you don't over-ink or under-ink your transfers. But once you get the hang of it, it's surprisingly straightforward. It's almost like screen printing in that way. The first few runs might not look perfect, but you quickly learn the process and get consistent results. Another advantage here is cost efficiency. Industrial pad printers can be incredibly expensive, not to mention the extra gear they require. The Manual Pad Printer is a fraction of that, and you can start producing your own branded items right away. Over time, it pays for itself, especially if you were outsourcing printing before. And since you're in control, you can do small runs without worrying about minimum order quantities. One thing I also appreciate is the adaptability. You're not limited to flat items. The silicone pad conforms to uneven shapes, so you can print on round, curved, or textured surfaces, something that would be impossible with most other printing techniques. If you've got pens, tools, or even packaging components, this machine can handle it. Let's talk workflow for a second. A typical session might look like this. You set up your etched plate with the design you want. Apply your ink in the ink cup. Position your item on the holder or base. Bring the pad down to pick up the ink design. Transfer it to the item with steady pressure. And that's it. It's mechanical, reliable, and there's almost no risk of software crashes, drivers, or firmware updates ruining your print session. Sometimes the simplicity of manual tools is exactly what you need. Of course, because it's manual, it's not going to match the speed of a fully